All right, my friends. Welcome one, welcome all to the greatest. I don't know, what is this? The greatest what? The greatest English speaking podcast of all times. I'm just making up stuff here off the top of my head while we wait for our show to start. And it doesn't look like it's working, but meantime, we'll dive right in here. I'm going to share my screen with you. So today we are talking about your English pronunciation. There we go. We are live. So welcome, my friends. Welcome one, welcome all to the Speaking Gringo podcast show. That's wordy. Maybe we should just cut that down to like the Speaking Gringo podcast. But it's not just a podcast because we're on video. So maybe we should just call it the Speaking Gringo show. I like the sound of that. Let's go with that. Leave a comment and let me know what you think. But in the meantime, we are going to go with that there. So diving on in here, today we're speaking about pronunciation, improving your pronunciation. So I want to give you a little caveat here, something that I think bothers a lot of students that they don't need to worry about. And I want to share a quick story with you before we dive into the how-tos. Remember, this is just the general overview. In our first podcast, we talked about learning English as a whole. Then we talked about increasing your vocabulary. Then we talked about mastering the grammar. And today we're talking about pronunciation. You can join us here at our speakinggringo.com. You just click here for podcasts to see the past podcast shows. Click here, join us to type in your name and email to get email updates, and you will be good to go. So if you have questions you want to ask, you can just type those in there and send them to me, and I'll give you a shout out on our future episodes. All right. So caveat here is that a lot of English students get really frustrated with English pronunciation because they want to sound just like a native speaker. All right. And there's students from all over the world, right? I taught English mostly to Brazilian students. That was the largest group of students I had because I was living in Brazil. And Brazilians have a very unique accent. So when I'm talking with somebody that I've never met before, and immediately I can tell that they're Brazilian just by the way that they speak English because of their accent. They tend to put a lot of E sounds on the end of their words. If I speak with Japanese people, I know right away that they're Japanese because they add a lot of O sounds at the end of their words, right? So there's different sounds that you make in your mother tongue that you're going to carry over into English. So that's not a bad thing. The important thing with speaking English is that people can understand you, that you communicate clearly enough that they understand the ideas that you're expressing. So when you're speaking English, it's important that people can understand you, but your accent doesn't have to be perfect. Now, of course, you want to improve your pronunciation over time. You want to speak better. So of course, you're going to work on pronouncing the words better. And it's not just the sounds, the pronunciation, it's the flow. So for example, there can be some really complicated phrases that are hard for English students to say. Kind of like tongue twisters, Sally sells seashells by the seashore. But I'm not talking about tongue twisters. I'm talking about normal phrases in English that have a lot of sounds that are complicated for English students to produce. So by doing specific exercises or training your pronunciation, your English flows faster, you speak more clearly and people understand you better. Now, the goal isn't to completely lose your accent, although it is possible, because I say this because a lot of people ask, and a lot of people think, oh, you can only speak perfect English up until the time you're 12 years old. And after that, you'll always have an accent. And that's not necessarily true. I've met people from other countries who spoke English very, very well. So perfectly, in fact, that when I first met them, I thought they were American. So I was in Sao Paulo, and it was I think it was on a Saturday afternoon. We had gone to a cookout. I was with some friends, and it was at their church. So they invited me to go along, and they introduced me to this guy. And his name was Paulo. And so we were talking, and I said, "Oh, so where are you from?" And he said, "I'm here from Sao Paulo." And I'm like, "What? No, I mean, your English is really good." So he's like, "No, I've never, I'm Brazilian." I was like, "So how long did you live in the US?" He's like, "No, I've never lived in the US. I went there one time for a business trip. It was a quick trip. And I learned to, I just learned on my own." And so I was curious. I was like, "So what'd you do?" So he told me his strategy, which I'm going to share with you here. And then we're going to dive into some things that you can do. But his strategy is really cool. So what he did, he learned English back in the day when we had the old VHS videotapes, if you remember those, if you're old enough like me. So he would put in the videotape. This was pre-Netflix era, right? And he would put in his videotape. He would watch the movie over and over and over and over again until he had basically learned all of the phrases, the lines that the actors were going to say. And then he would take a section of that video and he would listen to it over and over and over several times. And he would pause the video. He would practice what he had just heard. Hey, Islam, welcome. Happy to have you here. So we're talking about improving your pronunciation in English. And I'm telling the story of an English student I met in Brazil who spoke very good English. So he would pause the video, he would repeat what he had heard, and then he would listen to the video again, and he would correct his own pronunciation. So, for example, let's make up a phrase here, I like to drink water, right? So a Brazilian student might say, I like to drink water, right? Or something like that. I don't know if my accent's just right, but that's just an example. So then you listen to the phrase again, I drink water, and you go, oh, I drink, right? Cutting off the E, and then practicing and improving. So the concept of correcting your pronunciation in English is basically that. So you listen to something, you repeat it, you listen to it again, and then you correct your pronunciation. So in this way, you can, little by little, improve your English. And those words that you have trouble pronouncing, there are drills that you can practice to improve them. And I know a lot of people don't like drills. They don't think they're very effective, but in certain instances, drills can be very effective. I mean, and it doesn't take long. I've been in classes where we are focusing on a specific sound. So we would sit down with the students and give them some phrases to read, some complicated, complex sentences. And we would record them at the beginning of the class saying those sentences. Then we would practice and train and drill for a little while. And then we would go back and record them saying those same phrases again, and then listening to their first recording and the second recording, and the difference was huge. So doing those drills can really help you improve your English pronunciation, right? So that's why improving English is important, because it'll help people understand you more clearly. But remember that the goal isn't simply to speak perfectly. Obviously, you want to, if you want to speak British English, learn from a native British person. If you want to learn to speak American English, then listen to a Native American speaker, because that way you'll learn to speak the way they do, right? If you're American, you're going to say, I like to drink water. If you're British, you're going to say, I like to drink, no, I can't even speak British now, right? I like to drink water, right? So they have a different accent. So don't try to imitate my British accent, because my British accent isn't very good, but you would go listen to someone who lives in Britain and learn how they speak and improve your accent by listening to them and seeking to imitate them, right? So you're going to listen, you're going to say it, you're going to listen to it again, and you're going to correct your own accent. All right, Islam, I see your comment there. I cannot have your accent because I don't live in America. Right, Islam, that's what I'm saying. It's not that you have to speak just like a native speaker, right? That's not the goal. The goal is to improve your pronunciation so you speak more clearly and that people can understand you. So every language, your mother tongue, is going to influence the way you speak English, and there's nothing wrong with that. You just have to make sure that other people, other English speakers, can understand what you're saying, and that's your goal. And if you can communicate clearly, then that's the objective, right? So who should work on improving their pronunciation skills? Anybody that wants to speak better English, especially beginner students who have trouble with those sounds. Then intermediate students obviously who have learned a lot, but they want to, correct their own pronunciation so they can get better. And you do that specifically, like I said, by listening, repeating, listening again, and correcting your own pronunciation. So there's not really something that somebody can tell you to do. It's a self-correction method, so to speak, where you improve your own English pronunciation. So how can you do that? What tools can you use? And let's dive in here. First of all, number one, like we talked about our friend Paulo from São Paulo, who used movies. He specifically told me that he used those old John Wayne Western movies, right? So, but you can use any kind of movie that you like to improve your English. You've got Netflix nowadays, right? So you just log into Netflix, you find a movie, you can listen to native speakers from all over the world speaking. You see the subtitles written underneath at the bottom of the screen, right? So if you don't understand what they're saying, if you just listen to it, then you might not understand everything. I remember one time I was in a conversation class and we had a new student. She was really frustrated. She was paying attention and leaning forward. She's like, teacher, I don't understand anything they're saying. And she could speak fairly well, but she was having trouble listening, understanding what she was hearing. And then we watched through the scene 2 times, just listening. And then I put the subtitles on and her eyes lit up. She's like, wow, now I understand clearly. The sound is clear. And so we joked about that, of course. But using the subtitles will help you understand the words that you don't know yet. Or maybe you've seen those words written down, you know what they mean if you read them, but you don't know the pronunciation, especially when it's being spoken fast in a bunch of sentences. And that can be frustrating. So when you see it, you're like, oh, I know that word. So then watch the movie with the subtitles, then take the subtitles out, or actually, you know what? Here's what you can do. You can listen to it twice without subtitles, then watch the same section with subtitles in English. So that way you'll understand more of it. Then the third time through, actually the fourth time through, right? Because you listen to it 2, then you listen to it once with a subtitle, then you listen to it once with subtitles in your own language. That way you can make sure that you really understood it, right? Compare what you thought you understood with what the subtitles are saying. So it doesn't have to be the whole movie. You can just take a short section, like 2 minutes or 30 seconds, using the A-B, dot points on your DVD player. So you hit the A button and then you hit the B button. It'll just loop through that section. So then afterwards, take out the subtitles again and now listen to it without the subtitles, just paying attention to what you're hearing. Then go back through, play it again, and this time transcribe what you hear. Because as you try to write what you hear, you're going to pay more attention to the sounds. You're like, what's he saying? You're going to try writing those words out. And then you go back and you turn the subtitles on again, and you compare what you wrote with what's on the screen, and you'll see if you made mistakes, if the words that you wrote were correct or not, and you can correct your own English. So you can use Netflix, Hulu, or even YouTube. YouTube has a lot of movies, right? Another great way to improve your English pronunciation is with music, especially songs that have the lyrics on them, right? So you come in, put music with lyrics. If there's a specific song you want to listen to, you can type in the title of the song, and then you'll see the lyrics. You can listen to the song. A lot of songs you already know, so it's just a matter of associating the words that you're seeing with the sounds that you're hearing. All right, so let me close a couple of these. All right, so podcasts that have English pronunciations in them, right? So just type in English pronunciation podcasts, and you'll see podcasts that focus specifically on the pronunciation of sounds. So we're not focusing on a specific sound in today's podcast. We're just talking about pronunciation in general. But there are podcasts that will focus specifically on one specific sound, minimal pairs, intonation, the short O sound, etc. Right? I have some of those on our channel here. And you can go in, listen to the sounds, practice them, see words that use that sound, and improve your English that way. You can also learn English with native speakers, right? So like I said, if you want to learn to speak British English, listen to native English speakers who live in Great Britain. If you want to learn to speak Australian English, listen to native speakers from Australia. If you want to learn American English, listen to native speakers from America. Now, obviously, English in general, you can understand, but the pronunciation of the sounds, the vocabulary, the expressions they use differ from country to country and culture to culture. Even here in America, different regions have different sounds on their words. Right here, where I live, we say coffee and hot dogs. Up in New York, they say coffee and hot dogs, right? So you've got different ways of pronouncing words, even within the same country, just different regions. So find an accent you like and learn that. You may end up learning an accent that you didn't even know you were picking up. You probably won't even know there are accents until after you become a good English speaker. So if that happened to you and you want to change, I've had people tell me, hey, David, I learned to speak English this way, and now I want to learn how to speak British English, right? So it's like be like an actor. Actors, when they're preparing for a role in a film, they go out and they practice talking with people, right? They have diction classes. How do you pronounce that? I can't even pronounce that correctly. To pronounce words in the accent of the role that they're going to be speaking. So we have British actors who come and do American movies. They have American actors who go over to Great Britain or other countries and do movies. So they have to change their accent to make you feel like they're really from that country. So if actors can do it, you can do it, right? Just practice the pronunciation that you want to learn. And then finally, are apps that you can use to improve your pronunciation. I just pulled up a page here. Shout out here to englishpost.org, 8 best English pronunciation apps. And you can scroll through here, take a look, choose some that you like. The sound pronunciation app. You've got Learn English Sounds Right, Say It, Pronunroid, IPA pronunciation, Elsa Speak, English Accent Coach, Forvo pronunciation, English pronunciation app. So there's lots of apps out there that are available that you can use to practice specific sounds. So if you know the R sound is difficult for you in English, then you can practice the R sound, right? Find lessons based around the R sound. So that's it, my friends. Those are tips for today. Listen to movies, listen to music, listen to podcasts, watch videos from native teachers, and use apps to help you improve your English pronunciation. I hope you found that helpful. Once again, you can join us here. Just plug in your name and email to get updates when we're going live and join us. You can also, let's see here, we've got the Ask Us Questions there as well. And also, we have our Patreon page. So that is patreon.com/DaveBaileyMe, because that's what most of my social media handles are. And you can see all of our posts here. So the last 3 episodes, and if you want to support us in our mission of helping teach English, you can. You'll see our welcome. See, we already have 1 supporter. We appreciate that. Saying thank you so much. You'll get access to all of our 151 posts from the past. You'll see the last 3 episodes of the Speaking Gringo podcast are there. And you can help us in our mission of reaching 1 million English students. We only have like 25,000 people so far. So we have a long way to go, but we appreciate you being here, joining us. Share it with your friends. Invite your friends to come listen to the Speaking Gringo show with us. So that's it for today's pronunciation lesson, my friends. You all have a great day. I look forward to seeing you in the next episode. Leave a comment below. Again, let me know what you like so I can keep doing that. Let me know what you don't like so I can stop doing that. And we will continue to make the Speaking Gringo podcast the best podcast we can to help you improve your English skills. All right. So y'all have a great day. I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing my screen here. I'm going to log out and I will see you in episode number 5 of our Speaking Gringo show, where we will be talking about English expressions, idiomatic expressions, ways to learn to express yourself more fluently and proficiently in English. See you then. Bye.